Welcome to Tim's Vinyl Confessions. I'm Tim Durling, and I'm joined once again by Will Loomis, my co-host for this one. This one's mostly about Will. I'm just kind of hosting it. We're, as you can see, we both are wearing Alice Cooper shirts. I'm wearing, this one is from the Brutal Planet tour in 2000, which Matt and I saw in Portland, Maine. But Will just, a few weeks ago, saw Alice live in concert in Moncton at Casino NB. So this is a new tour shirt. He's also got a wristband there. You can maybe hold that up and show it to the folks.
This is Alice Cooper in blood, and then
it's got his eyes on it.
The back.
So, Will, take it away. I mean, how was the show?
Well, it was what you'd expect from Alice Cooper, all the crazy stuff he does, and cut his head off and resurrected himself.
You, this is obviously this is the first time you've seen Alice.
Yeah.
So I didn't make this one, but I was glad that you got to do it. Well, start off with, you got the set list written down. Read the set list off to people.
So they started off with the intro, and then he played Black Widow. And then about halfway through House of Fire, they had some technical difficulties. And the speakers in the front didn't work. And it was only the speakers in the back, so it was about half as loud as it should have been. Then they continued and just went through it and played House of Fire, No More Mr. Nice Guy, and Under My Wheels, and about halfway through Under My Wheels it turned back on.
So, not too long.
No.
Some people. And his bus didn't catch on fire.
No.
Like Whoopi Goldberg's did down there not too long ago.
No.
No, that's good. That would have been more of an Alice Cooper type thing.
Yeah.
Especially if it was during House of Bus on Fire. Anyway, carry on.
And people were so mad just for through half the song they were
mad.
Yeah. And then he played I'll Bite Your Face Off, $1 Billion Babies, and then had his sword and threw all the money out.
In case you've never seen this, I'll interject. Saw Alice twice. So I saw him in Portland, Maine, then I saw him again in Harbor Station in St. John 2006 on the Dirty Diamonds tour. And during $1 Billion Babies, he always does that. So I managed to catch one of his $1 billion bills. I've got it mounted in the record here. That's what we're talking about.
Then he played Be My Lover, Lost in America, Hey Stupid, and then they played Dirty Diamonds and threw out Bead Necklaces. And then it was the bass, drum, and guitar solo, which was really good. Then he played Welcome to My Nightmare, Go to Hell, Wicked Young Man, Feed My Frankenstein, and then that he got in the electric chair with his blood lab coat on and his tactical mask, and then it filled with smoke and he disappeared, and the 12-foot or something, this great big huge Frankenstein come out and ran around and sang his song, which is kind of weird. Ballad of a Dwight Fly, he was in...
Ballad of Dwight Fry. Ballad of Dwight Fry, it's from Love to Death. That's the one, he's in the straight jacket, and I gotta get out of here, and I gotta get out of here, yeah.
And he got stabbed.
Yeah.
And beat by a nurse.
Which, these three here, he always does those in a row. So he does Ballad of Dwight Fry, goes into Killer, partial, and then I Love the Dead, partial. I don't think he ever does the complete songs with all the verses. I think it's just part.
Yeah, it's
part. When they execute him.
And then I Love the Dead is when he came out in the hospital bed and woke up and checked if his head was still on, because he got decapitated at the end of Ballad of a Dwight Fry. And then he played 5 to 1, Break On Through, a Doors cover, Cold Turkey, a John Lennon cover, Manic Depression, the Jimi Hendrix Experience cover, My Generation, the Who cover. All
of those, of course, are from the Hollywood Vampires album, which by now you will have seen the Tim's Vinyl Confessions where Matt and I talk about that album.
I'm 18 with his cane, his crutch, I guess.
Crutch, yeah.
And he played Poison, and then the encore was School's Out mixed in with Another Brick in the Wall.
Which is again what it's recorded on Hollywood Vampires. So you also, I'm intrigued about this because I do not know what's in this. Will also brought a grocery bag of stuff that's labeled Alice Cooper Show. What have we got here? Looks like Christmas wrapping.
Well, when he played School's Out, he said it's party time, and then at the start of it, he had bubble machines going, so there were bubbles everywhere.
Yeah.
And then about halfway through, he shot out all these streamers, and confetti was everywhere, and it was all guitar solos and jumping around and dancing. So I grabbed some.
Okay, so that's a pretty cool souvenir from that part of the show.
Yeah.
Okay. I half expected to see it bloody or something, but no, I guess not.
Yeah.
So, good show then. The band was good? Yeah.
Really good.
Glad you went?
Yeah.
Good. So, while we got Will here, I thought where Matt and I already went over our Alice Cooper vinyl collections, Will is just starting to get into Alice's stuff, and there's a lot to get into. But I thought I'd get him to show off some albums. As a matter of fact, there are some albums here that I don't have on vinyl, and he's got some cassettes and CDs to tell you about too. So let's, why don't we start with your vinyl?
So this is Alice Cooper Killer.
This is one that I do not have on record.
And then the band on the back.
That one looks like it's been around for a while. No, that is a newer version of Killer with sort of the cream-colored Warner Brothers label. It doesn't have the old green label, nor does it have like the Burbank label. So this is probably from the sometime in the early 80s. This was reissued. Is there anything else in there?
No, it's just the old sleeve.
So originally the Killer record came with a 1972 calendar with a picture of Alice being hung on stage. Just so you know, that's what originally came with it, which means that you need to find that version, because as we know, Will likes to find records that have everything in them. All right, next up.
That was, my mom picked that up for me.
Oh, it's good find. Good find. Good find.
This is Alice Cooper Goes to Hell.
I love this album cover. That's such a creepy picture. Actually, that picture of Alice, and I think we talked about this when we did our vinyl episode, but I've read that that's actually a picture that was 3 years old at the time that album came out. I think that album is fantastic. It's not heavy all the way through, but it's just good. The songs are good. It's very much a companion piece to Welcome to My Nightmare. But that picture, I should have had this ready. But it's from this. Yeah, it's this photo of Alice. What they did is they just took all the detail out of it, like sucked all the color contrast out of it and tinted it green to make it look creepy. And I like the way it's written up there too, and the sort of the calligraphy.
And then
he's like
strange picture of Alice.
Strange picture in the back. He's like descending some stairs. By the way, I'm not sure when this episode is going to air, but we're actually filming this on Halloween, so it kind of makes perfect sense. So next up,
got the inner sleeve.
Oh, okay, yeah. This is all inside the. All of the stuff is written inside the CD booklet as well. And if you know the story of Welcome to My Nightmare, it's about somebody named Stephen, and this continues the story of Stephen. And Stephen also reappears not only on obviously the sequel to Welcome to My Nightmare, Welcome #2 My Nightmare, but the Along Came a Spider album from 2008. That's the Burbank logo with the palm trees. When I say Burbank logo in reference to Warner Brothers albums, that's what I'm talking about. So I don't have that on vinyl either, nor
and
do I have this one.
Alice Cooper, the Alice Cooper Show.
Yeah, this is a live album from 1977 that I don't like.
I thought it was pretty good.
I like all the songs on it. I just don't like the way they're played at this point.
Then you have to flip around and crank it upside down.
It's upside down, yeah. Anything inside that for
He's got a
just a plastic sleeve
and the Warner Brothers logo.
That looks like it's from its time, the way that's written on there. I'm not actually sure if there were any other goodies that came with that one or not, so I don't know if you're missing anything from that. There might not have been.
And then Blush the Fashion.
I do have this on vinyl. I actually really like this album. Somebody was nice enough to write their name on the front of it. Thanks, Glenn Sullivan. But Alice looks so different at this period, the short hair. And this is when he was super, super skinny, and this is where he was in bad shape. Till about 83.
Then another Warner Brothers logo here.
I don't think this album had another pressing, so that's probably the only label you'll see for that one. I really like that album. It's so weird, but it's so good.
Weird is good. With
sort of Alice's lost period. But even for Alice, these early 80s albums are different, including one that you've got, we're about to see, on cassette. So you've got a couple of cassettes that you picked up on one of our road trips.
So we've got Welcome to My Nightmare.
Great album, classic album, obviously.
And Dada.
Dada is a weird album. This is you don't see it on cassette very often. This is a Canadian edition. If you flip it around, anybody that bought tapes in the 1980s, I don't think I've ever talked about this, but all of Warner Brothers, Warner Electro Atlantic or Geffen, if it came out in 1983 or 84, they all looked like this, where they had the song titles up on top and there was a picture of whoever it was in the middle. They all do that. So that's what you got for cassettes, and you got a few CDs so far. So that's the original Welcome to My Nightmare CD, which I gave it to someone else when I bought the reissue that Rhino did that has the extra songs on it, but that's a great album. Now, this next one is one that you inherited.
Yeah, I stole it actually from my father.
I was trying to be nice. Obviously, this is people of my generation, if we bought one Alice Cooper album, or the first one, it was probably trash from '89. And this one I bought because you got it. You actually introduced me to this.
Yeah, so this is Alice Cooper Raise the Dead Tour live from back in Germany.
A lot of the same songs that you just described on his set list, because he's got Hey Stupid, Dirty Diamonds, I'll Bite Your Face Off, and a lot of them are in the same order.
Except he's opened with Black Widow instead of Hello Hooray. That's a little different.
Yeah.
And this was, like, he's back, the man behind the mask is a little different. Then the back we got Alice, and the song titles.
And there's a DVD with that too. It's a cool package. So, as we are recording this is Halloween. So that's not when it's going to premiere. But tonight is actually we're going to premiere the episode that Matt and I did talking about the Hollywood Vampires album. But since then, I subscribe to Classic Rock magazine out of the UK, which is I just love the magazine. You get an issue and it's a full month of reading. A lot of articles, a lot of interesting things. And they give you information on artists that you haven't heard of in years or you've never actually read much about. So it's really well worth picking up. This is the latest, and it actually has an article, which I haven't read yet, on Hollywood Vampires. So that's Joe Perry from Aerosmith on the left, Alice in the middle, and if you're thinking that looks like Johnny Depp, that's because it is Johnny Depp. That's Captain Jack Sparrow, who's also a guitar player. So I haven't gotten into this yet, but just see if I can flip through to the article that talks about the Hollywood Vampires, which I go into great detail about. And actually some of the Hollywood Vampires stuff, the cover versions that Will would have seen live and are on that Live at Bakken, that's just one fold out from it, picture of his band on stage. So that kind of wraps up this episode. There's one more thing on the back cover of this Classic Rock magazine, just as sort of a preview to an upcoming episode. That's the brand new Def Leppard album that as of now came out yesterday, and I've actually ordered the Classic Rock fan pack version of it, and I'm really looking forward to getting that, and I like what I've heard of it so far. And that'll be an episode unto itself. And another episode that's going to be upcoming, Will, of course, is just starting to get the Alice Cooper CDs, so earlier, I don't know if it was this year or last year, a box set was released that contains all of Alice's albums from his first one, Pretty's For You, in 1969, all the way up to Dada in 83. So it's all the albums he did for Warner Music all in one place. Perfect for someone that's just starting the collection. So we'll make that an episode unto itself once you get it. So thanks, Will, for sitting in on this episode. And thanks everybody out there for watching this episode of Tim's Final Confessions.